Give me a Y, give me an O, give me a UNGER, younger than last year. Yeah. Hey, we're doing a special Tuesday night, emerging from lockdown, since Thursday is Thanksgiving. And that makes it only a couple months away from New Year's. So I'm going to tie both of those together. New Year's is, I'll get to in a minute. Thanksgiving. So it's coming. This is the amateur night or day for people to overeat. The pros overeat probably all year. Some people go a little crazy on Thanksgiving, including there's been years when I did. But here we are younger than last year. Let's say you're 61 like myself. Thanksgiving comes around and all this food comes out on the table. You take a look at it and you start filling your plate without thinking about it. Before you know it, you got this big mound on there and you're sitting there, you're having some wine and you just keep eating. And then you feel so crappy because you're so full afterwards, you wonder why you did it. Well, we know overeating's not the healthiest thing, right? Let's put this jump rope down. And a lot of people tell me, oh, Robert, I've gotten older. I put on some weight, or it's harder to lose weight, or whatever. Well, one of the things to help with that is just stop overeating if that's what you're doing. I mean, there's a lot of things, but a lot of it starts with what you're doing at the table. So Thanksgiving is a good time to test that. Now, let's fast forward a couple months ahead to New Year's. New Year's is when people make resolutions. And you will know as well as I do how busy gyms get with new signups, right? People decide, I'm going to make a change in my health. I'm going to lose some weight. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And of course, by February, 3/4 of those people have either tailed way off or never even got started at all in January. So resolutions to me are just a crock. They're kind of silly. They're a waste. You make a resolution, let's say December 1st, that starting January 1st, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And why would you wait a month to start something as important as your own health, your own well-being, your own life, right? If you're in shape, you certainly feel better to do all the things you love to do. Doesn't have to be jumping rope. Maybe it's collecting some X-Men statues. Anyway, resolutions are about as useful as those X-Men statues right there are for cutting your grass, right? They're not going to get it done. So let's do this. Thanksgiving's 2 days away, and you've been wanting to make a big change in your life for your health, for your well-being, mentally, physically, spiritually, muscles, fat, cardiovascular. I hate using the word cardio, but cardiovascular, all this stuff, you've been wanting to make a big change. Now, if you saw a previous video, I talked about a breathing exercise to do and then asking yourself the 3 important questions. The reason you would ask these questions is to make space for this important change that you want to make. Too many people make the mistake of saying, I'm going to do this thing I'm going to start exercising and do this, this, and this. I'm going to cook my own meals and do this, 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 whatever it is, and pile it on top of an already teetering life of busyness. And of course, it gets put at the top and it tips over and drops, and sometimes it's completely forgotten after a week or two. You mean to get to it and it just never happens. So you have to make space for this. You got to look at your life and use the 3 questions. Remember the breathe? You can go back and see, I think it's from 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. I can't remember. 3 questions. What am I doing? Then ask yourself, what works? And then ask yourself the 3rd question, what doesn't? And be really honest with yourself. Take your time with them. Don't just say, what am I doing? Well, I'm just really busy. That's very general. What am I doing? Be specific with stuff. This is your life we're talking about, right? So do that starting today, because I'll tell you why. You're going to start looking for a place to make some space. And nature doesn't like a vacuum. So when you make space, something else wants to rush in there. Don't make it just busyness, busy stuff. I know too many people whose life is really busy, but if you look at what am I doing, what works, what doesn't, a lot of that stuff can either be eliminated, be changed, handed off to somebody else, something to make space for what's really important, and that's you, your health, your well-being. So now Thanksgiving is in 2 days. After you've gone through this for these questions for the next couple days, use Thanksgiving as your quote unquote New Year's resolution. It doesn't have to be about willpower, which is, I'm not a big fan of willpower either. It actually can get pretty destructive. Willpower can. It's more as you see the food, right? Here we go. We're at Thanksgiving table. Turkey comes out, mashed potatoes come out, beans, pumpkin pie, cranberry sauce, stuffing, gravy, all that stuff, beer, wine, soda, whatever it is. This all starts coming out before you put anything on your plate, right? This is where the things go wrong. It's before the action even takes place. It's look at the food, notice immediately what you see, what you feel, what's going on with you, right? Don't get out of the way like, oh, I shouldn't eat that, or I shouldn't eat so much. Find out what really happens, right? That's below all that. Forget about all that surface stuff, right? Like the branches on a tree, there's all these things, these surface things you could look at, but we're going to the root because it's where everything starts, is at the root. So you look at the food and say, maybe it's, oh man, I don't really want to eat it. I don't really feel like eating it because here I am 61 and I can't eat as much, but it's here and I kind of want it. And you have this desire. Just notice these things and see what's really going on. And you may not have to use a lot of willpower. You might just say, oh, you know what? Instead of taking 3 pieces of turkey, I'm just having 1. That'll do me fine. I'll just take 1 little mashed potatoes instead of 6. I'll put a little gravy, whatever it is. Maybe you won't maybe you won't have any dessert. Maybe you will. Maybe it's just 1 piece. Start with Thanksgiving dinner. Use that method. Start looking at what is here and here, not using willpower to not even pay attention to it and just stay with the willpower. That, first of all, is exhausting. It cuts you off from yourself. And once we add exercise and everything else for your resolution, your Thanksgiving resolution, right? Things might go a little smoother. So we're number 1, start asking yourself the questions today. What am I doing? Be honest with yourself. What works? Number 3, what doesn't? And take the what works and keep that. What doesn't? Stop doing that because you see that it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So what's the point, right? You got better things to do with your life. Then by that time, you've gotten to Thanksgiving and use the awareness exercise with how you're feeling when you look at the food before you even reach for it. It's like if you're a smoker, as you're starting to reach for the cigarette or just about to, that's the moment when you can discover a lot about yourself right there. It's subtle. You got to be kind of sensitive to it because it flies by in less than a second, but it's there. Watch for it. Then after that, you start your build up to your health and fitness and well-being. So let's say after Thanksgiving, the day after, you decide, I'm going to go for a walk. Or maybe you saw me using this jump rope. Now, I would not recommend a jump rope for a heavy person. There's a million other ways to do this. If you're a smaller person, your knees, your ankles, your feet, your back are in good shape, then I would say okay. Number 2, there's a learning curve to jumping rope. If you haven't done it since you were a kid, you're going to find a lot of frustration. So there is a learning curve. So be patient. You want to master something, it's not going to happen in 2 days. It could take 3 weeks, 2 weeks to get really proficient at halfway proficient at jumping rope. Number three, it's a tremendous exercise, not just for strengthening your calves and so forth, but also heart and lungs. So to start, this is a speed rope. I like to use this one because I used to like to jump quickly. It's got little bearings in the handles here, so the rope really spins. And the handles are very light. You can get heavy ropes, all kinds of different ropes. Here's the other thing. The length of the rope. Best way to find that, and this is the way that was shown me years ago, take the handles like so, stand on the rope, and straighten it, and right around underneath your jaw here is a good beginner's place to start. Actually, beginner might be even a little higher. That means the rope's a little longer. As you get really good at it, if the rope is about this short, it's going to be a really fast rope, but you have to be pretty good with that. Then you can start practicing the timing of the jump by spinning the rope at your side. I've seen too many people that bypass these steps because they're in such a hurry to get to the jumping, and they frustrate themselves over and over and over again because they don't have the timing down yet. Spend as long as you need to spin the rope like this, right? And then time the jump, right, in your feet like so. Do that for a couple minutes. You might even do that for the first 2 or 3 sessions, like put the clock on and do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, something like that. The other thing about jumping rope is people make the mistake of jumping way high off the floor. You don't need to do that at all. Just keep your jumps very, very short, maybe 1 or 2 inches off the ground, right? Like so. Last, keep it in the wrists. A lot of people, when they start waving their arms around. That's going to make you'll have all kinds of trouble. You'll catch the rope will catch. It's called a catch. So that's when. Oops, I couldn't do it. That's when this happens, right? And it catches on your foot. So short jumps, keep it in the wrist. So you might want to practice just like this. See, my arms are at my sides, and I'm just turning in the wrist, right? And then do 5 or 6 jumps, stop. Do 5 or 6 more jumps, stop. You can start gradually adding on jumps. When you get up to 1 whole minute without a catch, then we can move on to something else. But you got to go through the learning curve. So let's do, I don't know, you can count jumps. Let's do 100 jumps. Big thrill to watch me jump 100 jumps. Now, if you don't have a jump rope, you can just jump without, right? Like so. Go along with me like this. Just like that. Notice the jumps are not high at all. Notice my knees are pretty much straight. There's a slight bend in them, but not very little. So my feet, ankles, and calves are working. So if you've had a lot of sprained ankles, jumping rope might not be for you either. We would find something else for you to do. This is just for people to jump rope today. So here we go. Thanksgiving jump rope. Let's do 100 jumps. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 50, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 60, 4, 5, 6, 9, 70, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 80, 1, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 90, 1, 4 and a 5 and a 6 and 7 and 8 and a 9, 100. So you can go by time or numbers of jumps. So that would be just one thing you would start with for your Thanksgiving resolution. Forget about New Year's resolutions. Everyone does it, and they all fail. Most of them fail. So how about being different? Let's do it and start now. Trick your brain. It was thinking, oh, I got to wait. I can wait till New Year's. No, let's get started because your life's a moment-to-moment affair anyway. Minute by minute, it's going on. So between now and New Year's, There's a lot of time that you would have wasted instead of just starting now. So I think that's just about it. Next time I see you, Thanksgiving will be done. And we'll be on our way to the holidays, the other holidays, Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, all that other stuff. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Again, watch the food, watch your awareness. And let's finish with a couple of Hindu push-ups. So on the way out, I'm signing off. This is Robert for Younger Than Last Year. I'll see you next week. Take care.